Y'all, be careful what you wish for when you're angry. Seriously. We've all been there, pressured by family, mocked by friends, feeling like you're behind in life. But let me tell you, loneliness is better than the nightmare I invited into my home. My name is Chinwe. I had everything a Lagos big girl is supposed to have. A high-paying job, luxury cars, designer bags, you name it. But in my Nigerian family, none of that matters if you don't have a ring on your finger. Every family gathering was a torture session. My mother would look at me with disappointment and say, "Chinwe, is it a car I will rock in my old age? Where are my grandchildren?" My younger sisters, who were already married, would give me those pitying looks that just burned my soul. But the breaking point was my cousin's wedding. My mother, in front of everyone, called me a male-dressed spinster. Something inside me snapped. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just grabbed my keys and drove 4 hours to my village in the dead of night. I went straight to the river my grandmother used to warn us about, the one they said listened to desperate women. I knelt in the mud, tears streaming down my face, and I whispered into the dark water. "I don't care who hears me. Give me a husband. I don't want to be alone anymore." The water just rippled silently. No thunder, no lightning. I thought nothing happened. I drove back to the city the next morning, feeling foolish. I buried myself in work, trying to forget my moment of weakness. But 2 nights later, I woke up to a chill that went straight to my bones. I opened my eyes, and there, standing by my window, was a silhouette. A tall man, bare-chested. His skin was glowing like wet moonlight. I couldn't breathe. "Who are you?" I whispered. He smiled, a slow, terrifying smile, and said in a voice that sounded like rushing water, "You called, and I answered." My heart was beating so hard I thought it was going to break my ribs. I scrambled backward on the sofa, knocking over a lamp. "You need to leave," I stuttered. "This isn't real. You aren't real." He didn't walk, he glided. He stepped closer, and the smell hit me raw earth and deep, cold river water. It was so strong I almost gagged. He reached out a hand, and I saw water dripping from his fingers, but there was no leak in the ceiling. "You cannot reject what you begged for," he whispered. His voice didn't sound like it came from a throat. It sounded like it came from the walls surrounding me. "You asked not to be alone. I am here." I squeezed my eyes shut and screamed. "I take it back. I didn't mean it." The temperature in the room dropped 30 degrees instantly. I felt a cold, wet hand touch my cheek. Words spoken to the river cannot be taken back. Then the lights flickered and died. Total darkness. I curled into a ball, sobbing, praying to Jesus, to my ancestors, to anyone. I must have passed out from the terror. When I woke up, sunlight was streaming through the window. The room was dry. The lamp was back upright. I sat up, letting out a breath I didn't know I was holding. It was just a nightmare, I told myself. Just stress, just a breakdown. I walked to the bathroom to wash my face, laughing nervously at myself. "Girl, you need a vacation," I muttered. I reached for the soap, and that's when I saw it. On my left ring finger. It wasn't gold, it wasn't silver. It was a band that looked like pale, frozen glass pulsing with a faint blue light. I tried to yank it off. I pulled until my skin was raw and bleeding. It wouldn't budge. It was fused to my bone. And then I heard a splash from my bathtub behind me. I spun around. The bathtub, which was empty seconds ago, was now full of dark, murky water. It was swirling violently, and in the reflection of the water, I saw him standing right behind me. "You are my wife," his voice boomed, vibrating through the bathroom tiles. "We do not divorce." I didn't pack a bag. I didn't even put on shoes. I grabbed my keys and ran out of that house with the clothes on my back. I drove like a maniac back to the village, praying the car wouldn't crash, praying I wouldn't see him in the rearview mirror. I went straight to the old village priest. When he saw the mark on my finger, he didn't even ask. He just shook his head and said, "The bride price is paid. He will not let you go easily." That night was a war. The priest took me back to the riverbank to break the bond. I had to stand in that freezing water while the storm raged. The waves were hitting me like fists. I felt cold, slippery hands grabbing my ankles, pulling me down, trying to drag me under. I heard that smooth, seductive voice promising me eternal love if I just gave up and drowned. But I found a scream deep inside my gut. I belong to God. I belong to me. I fought against the current. I clawed my way up the muddy bank, coughing up river water in fear until I collapsed on dry land. When I looked at my hand, the glowing ring was gone. But my finger was scarred, a faint white line circling the skin where it had been. A permanent reminder. I'm single now, and let me tell you, when my aunties ask when I'm getting married, or when my mother makes a comment about grandchildren, I just smile and sip my drink. They don't know the hell I walked through. I would rather sleep alone for the rest of my life than share my bed with a demon just to say I have a husband. So I have to ask, do you think societal pressure forces women to make bad choices? Tell me in the comments. If this story gave you chills, hit like and subscribe.